Before Virgin was a global empire, Richard Branson was just a 16-year-old dropout, with dyslexia and no clear plan, just a dream to challenge the norm. He didn't wait for permission. He launched a student magazine hustling ads, calling businesses from a payphone. That magazine, it wasn't just ink and paper, it was his ticket to disruption. This wasn't luck, it was the start of the Richard Branson Virgin journey. By 1972, Branson had done the unthinkable. He opened a recording studio in the countryside, not in London, but in a rundown manor. He called it the Manor. There, a little-known band, Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells, became Virgin Records' first hit. It didn't just break charts, it broke every expectation. This risky move, it launched Branson into music history, solidifying the early steps of the Richard Branson Virgin journey. Most would stop at music. Branson didn't. In 1984, frustrated by a canceled flight, he chartered a plane and jokingly wrote Virgin Airlines on a sign. But the joke stuck. Virgin Atlantic launched with one leased plane and zero airline experience. People laughed until they didn't. That one impulsive move became a symbol of the Richard Branson Virgin journey: risk big or stay grounded forever. Branson didn't just want to fly, he wanted to soar. In 1987, he attempted to cross the Atlantic in a hot air balloon, a stunt no one had survived. Mid-flight, the balloon malfunctioned, plummeting toward icy waters. But Branson survived, and headlines exploded. It wasn't about thrill, it was branding brilliance. Virgin wasn't just a company now, it was an attitude, stamped into every move of the Richard Branson Virgin journey. Branson wasn't done pushing gravity. In 2004, he announced Virgin Galactic, his boldest leap yet, commercial spaceflight. Critics scoffed billionaire dream, PR stunt. But Branson doubled down, pouring millions into prototypes and test flights. Every explosion, every setback, only fueled him more. To Branson, space wasn't the limit, it was the next frontier in the Richard Branson Virgin journey. And he was ready to chase it. In 2014, the dream cracked. During a Virgin Galactic test flight, Spaceship Two broke apart midair. One pilot killed, another injured. Branson was devastated. Cameras caught him in tears, speaking not as a billionaire, but as a human. Critics circled like vultures. But this wasn't the end, it became the emotional core of the Richard Branson Virgin journey. If you dare to reach the stars, you must face the darkness too. After the crash, many expected Branson to walk away. Instead, he rebuilt. Virgin Galactic redesigned its systems, doubled safety protocols, and trained with military precision. Branson faced every family, every engineer, not with excuses but with resolve. By 2021, the impossible happened. Branson flew to space himself. It wasn't ego. It was a promise fulfilled, proving that the Richard Branson Virgin journey wasn't about avoiding risk, but honoring it. For Branson, flight was never just movement, it was mindset. He believed in saying yes before knowing how, then figuring it out midair. Virgin wasn't built on safety nets, it was built on leaps. Even when mocked, grounded, or burned, he never lost altitude. Because the Richard Branson Virgin journey is less about business, and more about believing the sky isn't the limit, just the beginning. Today, Virgin is more than music or space, it's over 400 companies, spanning travel, health, telecom, and beyond. But behind every logo is one man's relentless belief. That business should feel like an adventure, not an obligation. That brand is soul, not slogan. And the Richard Branson Virgin journey. It's still flying, powered by boldness, failures, and the refusal to land. Branson's favorite phrase, "Screw it, let's do it." To him, fear wasn't a stop sign, it was a signal. He wrote it in books, lived it in boardrooms, and proved it in midair. While others hesitated, he launched. That attitude turned rejections into reinventions, and made the Richard Branson Virgin journey a playbook for anyone bold enough to leap before they're ready. For every Virgin Atlantic, there was a Virgin Cola. Branson once tried to take on Coca-Cola head-on. He launched Virgin Cola with a tank rolling through Times Square, smashing cans. But the market didn't budge. Within years, it vanished. $1 billion flop, maybe. But for Branson, it was just another chapter, because the Richard Branson Virgin journey isn't about being perfect. It's about never backing down from bold. While others scaled cautiously, Branson expanded instinctively. Virgin launched trains in the UK, mobiles in South Africa, health clubs in Australia. If he felt a spark, he acted, then figured it out later. Each venture carried the same DNA: fun, rebellious, customer first. By the 2000s, Virgin wasn't just a company, it was a global spirit. And that spirit kept evolving the Richard Branson Virgin journey into something far bigger than business. Branson never sat behind a cold desk. He answered emails from a hammock, held meetings on kiteboards, and ran businesses from his island. To him, happy teams build legendary brands. So he gave staff unlimited vacation, open feedback, real trust. While others micromanaged, he empowered. Because the Richard Branson Virgin journey wasn't fueled by control. It was built on freedom. By the 2010s, Branson wasn't just building companies, he was shaping minds. His talks packed stadiums. Books like Losing My Virginity became blueprints for boldness. He mentored young founders, backed social ventures, and turned profits into purpose. The Richard Branson Virgin journey evolved. From empire to legacy. And his story, it wasn't about how high he climbed, but how many he pulled up along the way. Branson never believed profit should come at the planet's expense. He launched Virgin Unite, a nonprofit to back bold solutions for climate, poverty, and peace. He joined the elders with Mandela, fought for drug reform, and backed clean energy startups. This wasn't charity, it was leadership. Because to him, the Richard Branson Virgin journey wasn't just about building the future. It was about protecting it. In the quiet of Necker Island, Branson walks alone, no boardrooms, no headlines. Just ocean, wind, and reflection. After decades of noise, he seeks silence. Not retirement, but renewal. Because even for him, the Richard Branson Virgin journey needs pauses. To breathe, to listen, to ask. What impact truly lasts? When the rockets cool, the applause fades. And it's just you and your legacy. He's cheated death in balloons, planes, and rockets. But Branson once said his real fear wasn't crashing, it was irrelevance. In private, he admitted the silence after each win felt heavier than the struggle before. The spotlight fades. The calls slow down. And the Richard Branson Virgin journey, for all its glory, can still feel lonely at the top. Because even icons question if they still matter. So I keep going after near-death, billion-dollar failures, and fading fame. Because Branson never built for applause. He built for momentum. To him, movement is mining. As long as there's a risk worth taking, a rule worth breaking, or a mind worth sparking, he won't stop. The Richard Branson Virgin journey doesn't end in comfort. It continues in curiosity. And that is something even time can't ground. Branson knows he won't pilot every launch forever. So now he mentors more than he manages. He's building a new generation of dreamers, his kids, young founders, bold thinkers. No throne, no script. Just one question: what would you do if success was guaranteed? That's how the Richard Branson Virgin journey continues. Not through control, but through contagious courage. Virgin isn't just airlines or spaceports, it's a feeling. The thrill of rebellion. The joy of boldness. The permission to try, fail, and fly again. That spirit lives in every product, every risk, every underdog that dares to leap. Because the Richard Branson Virgin journey was never about one man. It's about what happens when anyone says, "Screw it, let's do it." What if the next Virgin isn't a brand, but you? What if the boldest move isn't launching a rocket, It's starting at all. Branson never waited to be qualified, chosen, or ready. He chose motion over mastery. So ask yourself, what rule would you break? What leap would you take? If you believed your journey could echo like the Richard Branson Virgin journey. Branson wasn't a genius. He had dyslexia, dropped out at 16, and never followed rules. But he believed ferociously. He believed in people, in fun, in the power of why not. The Richard Branson Virgin journey proves one thing. You don't need to be extraordinary to start. You become extraordinary by starting. And never stopping. As Branson floats in zero gravity, he doesn't look down, he looks forward. He knows space isn't the end, it's the invitation. For others to dream bigger. Try wilder. Live louder. The Richard Branson Virgin journey was never about reaching one goal. It was about removing the ceiling for everyone watching. Because when one person breaks gravity, they show the rest of us it was never real. One day your story will be told too. Will it be safe or significant? Will they say you followed or forged? Branson's legacy isn't just what he built. It's what he dared to begin when no one else would. The Richard Branson Virgin journey is proof. A bold life isn't something you're given. It's something you choose. Every time you refuse to settle, there's a fire inside you. It's not loud, not obvious, but it burns every time you imagine more and settle for less. Branson didn't wait for permission to build. He lit that fire and fed it with action. The Richard Branson Virgin journey reminds us. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to burn anyway. So the real question is, will you light your own sky? No one handed Branson a script. He wrote it scratch by scratch, risk by risk. And so can you. The world doesn't need more rules. It needs more rewrites. If you feel different, think bigger, dream louder. That's not a flaw. That's your cue. Because the Richard Branson Virgin journey isn't just a story to watch. It's a challenge to write your own. One day the jets will stop. The headlines will fade. Even the boldest brands will blur. But impact that lingers. Branson knew the loudest thing you leave is how you made people feel. The Richard Branson Virgin journey was always more than business. It was a signal sent across time. That said, live fully, build loudly, love wildly. And never ever play small. You've seen the setbacks. You've felt the fire. Now here's the truth. Branson's story was never just his, it's a map. But maps are useless unless you move. This isn't the end of a documentary. It's the start of your launch sequence. So take the risk, make the call, and subscribe to the mindset that built the Richard Branson Virgin journey. Start before you're ready. This isn't just a story about Richard Branson. It's a mirror for every idea you buried, for every risk you delayed. If he could leap without knowing where he'd land, why not you? The Richard Branson Virgin journey lit the sky. But now it's your turn to ignite. Don't just watch stories. Make them. Take the leap, subscribe for more daring stories, and start writing yours today. Branson never owned the sky. He just proved it was open. He didn't leave behind empires. He left permission to dream wildly, to fail publicly, to live fully. And if you felt even one spark watching his journey, don't wait. The sky isn't taken. It's waiting. So light your engines and fly. If this story sparked something in you, don't let it fade. Subscribe now to join a world where risk is a language and bold is the default. We uncover the wild, untold paths of entrepreneurs who dare differently. So if you're building, dreaming, or just done playing small, This is your place. Hit that button. Take the leap. Because your virgin moment starts here.